Welcome to part 3 of the Frog Project. You notice I've made a couple different copies of my hippo fly. So let's go to this one and go to costumes. Okay. So I want to change the color of the body. I pick a color. Um, and then I pick the paint can. I go to both costumes. And then I want to change the color of the wings to red. I pick the paint can, pick the color again in the slider bars, go to the paint can, and go to each costume, paint the can red, and say I want to make light blue dots. Then I hit the paintbrush, and I can make a line by holding it down. I go to the other one, put some more dots, put the line, and go up to the top, file, save now. Okay. The other thing I can do is once I've made the decorations, I right click on Tyrone and I say duplicate. And I get a new sprite called Tyrone 2. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is give the sprite a name. I'm going to call it Miko. And I want to make sure that each sprite at the beginning, it sets its name. This is set my name to Amy, set my name to Miko. Okay, this one has got to be Adelita. And this one is going to be Tyrone. Now we have to go into the frog sprite. Remember, when the fly gets too close to the frog, it sends a message saying eat, or eat me, or eat fly. So I go into the events panel. It says, when I receive eat fly. Okay. All right. I've created a variable. I went into the variables and I did make a variable, and I created a variable called fly count. And since there are 4 flies, 1, 2, 3, 4, I set the fly count to 4. So the first thing I do is I'm going to count the number of flies that I ate. So you start with 0 and then you eat 1, 2, 3, 4. So, or 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So every time I eat a fly, I'm going to change the fly count by -1. So I'm going to start with 4 flies. I get a message to eat a fly. It's going to be 3, then 2. And then I'm going to play a special sound when I eat the fly. So I'm going to start sound frog 2. That's the sound that I put him when he eats it. Okay. I think I have a message variable. Yeah, I created a variable called message. You just click on the make a variable and type in the name. And the message variable at the beginning is going to be set to nothing. So when I start the program, I'm going to say set message to, it's going to be empty. And at the beginning, I'm also going to hide the variable. I don't want to see this variable. So I'm going to say hide variable message. Okay. So let's do this. Before I make the sound, I'm going to set the message to, and I'm going to use the join block. I'm going to say I ate the name of the fly. So we're going to use the join block. We're going to set the message to I ate and then we're going to put in the name of the fly. So it's going to be I ate fly to eat. All right. Then we're going to go back to variables. We're going to show this message. We're going to show the variable message. We're going to play the sound. We're going to wait 1 second. And then we're going to hide the message. So we're going to hide variable message. Okay. There was a little bit of a problem I discovered. The flies got very close to the frog and it was eating them so fast it couldn't count them. So whenever a fly sees a message, eat fly, we're going to do something. We're going to give the frog a chance to eat the fly and count the number of flies that it eats. So we're going to go to events, and we said, when I receive message, eat fly, I'm going to move away from the frog. And to do that, I'm going to change X by 10, which means the frog starts out somewhere here. So he's going to move to the right. And okay. So we're now here, change Y by 10 and control, and we're going to wait 0.8 seconds. Now this block of code is just in Amy. So in order to copy it, I put my mouse over this, and you see how it wiggles? So I'm going to copy it to Adelita. So if we look in Amy, we see this block when I receive eat fly. When we look in Adelita, we see this block. And It's not in Tyrone. Maybe if I move Tyrone over to here, I go to Amy and I put my mouse on this when I receive eatfly. I press down the left key. I drag it over Tyrone until it wiggles, and then I have this. So I have this block and all the different flies. Okay. And you'll notice that Tyrone and Miko have the same costume. So just to make it interesting, I'll put the paintbrush. I'll put green spots on this one's wings. And I'll go to the paint can. And I'll make his eyes green. All right. Now we have to go back to the frog. So we're almost done. So the next thing is every time we eat a fly, we count down 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So if we're looking at the number of flies, and we go to the variables and we say fly count equals 0. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to switch costumes to the jumping costume. Remember, we have this costume here. So if we go back to our code and we go to looks and we say switch to costume frog 2C, we're going to wait, control, wait 0.5 seconds. We're going to move the frog 250 steps. 250 steps. We're going to switch back to the costume where he's just sitting without his tongue sticking out. So we're going to go to looks and we're going to say switch to costume frog 2A. We go to the sounds. We have a new sound. We're going to say play sound. Let's see. Play sound frog 3A until done. And then finally we go to control. And since this is the end of the program, we should have a stop. You should say stop all. Okay, so let's go to the top. Do a file save now. Go to full screen. And let's start it. Okay. Let's see what the fly count is, because I don't think it's working. So I go to variables. And oh, for some reason, 0 didn't get put in here. And the other thing that I see is a little mistake is for the uh, two of the flies aren't saying their name. So I go to code, and sometimes you'll see things and it's not working exactly the first time. So we're going to copy this one into Tyrone and this one into Miko. Do a file save now. Um, go to full screen and test it one more time. Looks like one of the flies isn't saying his name. Okay, that's it. Just a few things I want to clean up. Um, the frog itself, when it says I ate, it should have a space. It's a little thing, but I want to be fussy. So I just, after ate, I'll just save it. I'm not going to test it again. So that's the program. So there's this new block of code, and I'll let you pause it. And so the new block of code is when I receive eat fly, you're changing the fly count, you're setting the message, you're showing the message, you're playing the frog 2, you're going to wait seconds, wait 1 second, and you're going to now test the number, see if you've eaten all the flies, and then this is the jumping code. So that's it. I hope you've had fun, and I'll see you in the next lesson.